Captain Jake Morrison walked across the bridge of his ship, the Aurora Dawn. He stopped at the main screen and stared at the planet below. The readings made no sense. For 3 days, his team had been watching something that should not happen. Dr. Lisa Carter looked up from her scanner. Her face showed confusion and worry. She had checked the data many times, but the results stayed the same. On the planet's surface, large predators were doing something strange. They brought their babies. 2 human settlements and left them there. "This is not normal," Carter said to her partner, Dr. Alex Hudson. "I have found 17 different places where this happened. The creatures are not the same species. Some have scales, some have fur, some can fly, but they all do the same thing." Hudson nodded as he read the reports. "The scaled ones from the north, the wolf-like creatures from the south, and the flying ones from the mountains. They are all bringing their young to our people." Lieutenant Ben Taylor sat at the communication desk. He had been listening to messages. "From the colonies all morning, Captain. Settlement 7 just sent another report. A group of young wolf-like creatures was left near their farming area this morning. The adult animals just walked away after that." Morrison rubbed his chin. He had been exploring space for 20 years. He had seen many strange things, but nothing like this. Animals did not leave their babies with other species. It went against everything they knew about nature. "How many settlements have reported this?" Morrison asked. Carter checked her notes. 12 settlements so far. The pattern is always the same. Adult predators approach with their young. They leave the babies where humans will find them. Then, they disappear into the wild. The captain looked at the planet again. It was a beautiful world with 3 moons. The 3rd moon, where the human colonies were built, had seemed perfect for settlement. Good air, clean water, and plenty of space. But now this mystery made everything complicated. Sir Taylor said the colonists are asking what they should do with the animals. Some of the babies are very young. They need care or they will die. Morrison thought about this. The colonists were good people. They would not let young animals die. But taking care of alien predators could be dangerous. What would happen when the babies grew up? Dr. Carter walked over to the captain. "I want to go down to the surface. I need to study these creatures up close. Maybe I can understand why this is happening." "It could be dangerous," Morrison said. "These are predators we are talking about. Even the babies might be harmful." "The colonists have been caring for them for weeks," Carter replied. "No one has been hurt. The young animals seem calm around humans. They do not try to attack or run away." Hudson joined the conversation. "I have been studying the adult animals from orbit. They do not leave the area completely. They stay nearby, watching from a distance. It is like they want to make sure their young are safe." This made Morrison think, if the adults stayed close, they must care about their babies. But why would they trust humans to take care of them? Humans and these aliens had never met before. There was no reason for trust. "Lieutenant, send a message to all the colonies," Morrison ordered. "Tell them to keep caring for the young animals, but be very careful. We need to learn more about what is happening." Taylor typed the message quickly. "Message sent, sir." Dr. Carter gathered her equipment. "I want to visit Settlement 7 first. They have had the animals longest. Maybe the colonists have learned something useful." "Take Hudson with you," Morrison said, "and bring enough security. We do not know what we are dealing with yet." As Carter and Hudson prepared to leave, Morrison stared at the planet again. In all his years of space travel, he had never seen anything like this. Usually, when humans met alien animals, there was fear on both sides. Fighting was common. But here the aliens were bringing their most precious things to humans. "Their children, Captain," Taylor said. "I just got another report. This time from Settlement 3. A flying creature left 2 babies near their power station. The creature was huge, maybe 15 feet across. But it was very gentle when it put the babies down." Morrison shook his head. The flying creatures were the most dangerous predators on the planet. They could attack from the sky and were very fast. But even they were trusting humans with their young. "Sir, the shuttle is ready," Carter reported over the communication system. "Be careful down there," Morrison said, "and report back every hour." If anything goes wrong, come back immediately. Understood, Captain. Morrison watched as the shuttle left the Aurora Dawn and headed for the planet. He hoped Carter would find answers. The colonists needed to know if they were safe. Animals needed to be understood. And Morrison needed to know what to tell the Earth government about this strange situation as he watched the shuttle disappear into the planet's atmosphere. Morrison wondered what other surprises this world might have. In space, strange things happened all the time. But this felt different. This felt important. The young animals being left with humans might be the key to understanding something much bigger, something that could change how humans and aliens interacted. Forever, he just hoped they could figure it out before something went wrong. 3 weeks had passed since Dr. Lisa Carter first went to the planet's surface. She had visited 8 different colonies and seen things that amazed her. The alien predators kept coming. Every few days, another group would appear with their... Young Doc Carter sat in the research station at Settlement 7, looking at her notes. She had counted 47 separate visits from the creatures. Each time was the same. Adult predators would come close to human settlements, leave their babies, and walk away. Commander Kate Phillips had joined the ground team a week ago. She was a tough military officer who had fought in many battles, but even she was surprised by what she saw on this planet. "Doctor, you need to see this," Phillips called from outside the research station. Carter rushed out and saw something incredible. A massive creature was walking toward the settlement. It was 12 feet tall, with shiny scales that looked like metal. Its head was huge, and its teeth were as long as kitchen knives. This was a Draconis, the most dangerous predator on the planet. But the creature was not attacking. In its mouth, very gently, it carried 3 small babies. The babies were much smaller than their parent, about the size of house cats. The big Draconis walked slowly and carefully. "Everyone stay calm, Phillips," ordered the colonists who had gathered to watch. "Do not make sudden moves." The Draconis stopped about 50 feet from the settlement's main building. It lowered its head and placed the 3 babies on the ground. The little ones made soft chirping sounds but did not seem afraid. The adult creature looked directly at the humans watching. For a long moment, nobody moved. The Draconis and the humans stared at each other. Then the big creature took a step backward, then another. It kept looking at the settlement until it reached the edge of the forest. Only then did it disappear into the trees. "Did you see that?" Carter asked Phillips. "It looked right at us, like it was trying to tell us something." Phillips nodded. "In all my years of military service, I have never seen anything like that. That creature could have killed us all easily. But it was so. Careful with those babies." The colonists slowly approached the 3 young Draconis. The babies did not run away. Instead, they seemed curious about the humans. One of them even walked closer to a young girl named Amy. "Can we touch them?" Amy asked her mother. "Be very careful," her mother replied. Amy slowly reached out her hand. The baby Draconis sniffed her fingers, then rubbed its head against her palm. It made a happy purring sound. Dr. Carter watched this with great interest. The babies are not afraid of us at all. They act like they want to be near humans. Over the next few hours, the colonists built a safe area for the 3 young creatures. They brought food and water. The babies ate everything and seemed very happy. Dr. Hudson contacted Carter from the ship. "Lisa, I have been watching the adult creatures from orbit. Something very interesting is happening." "What do you mean?" Carter asked. "The adults do not really leave. They stay in the forest near the settlements. I can see them with our sensors. They are watching their babies from a distance." This news made Carter think. So they do not abandon their young. They are trusting us to take care of them. "That is what it looks like," Hudson replied. "But why would they do that?" "They do not know us. They have no reason to trust humans." Carter had been wondering the same thing. Over the past 3 weeks, she had studied the different species. The scaled Draconis, the wolf-like Ferox, and the flying Sky Reapers were all very different. They came from different parts of the planet and had different ways of living, but they all did the same thing with their babies. "There has to be a connection," Carter said to Phillips. "Something is making all these different species act the same way." Phillips was watching the colonists interact with the young creatures. The humans seemed to know exactly what to do. They built the right kind of shelters, found the right food, and even seemed to understand what the babies needed. "Look at that," Philip said, pointing to a man named Joe who was feeding one of the baby draconas. Joe has never seen one of these creatures before, but he knows exactly how to care for it. Carter looked and saw that Phillips was right. The colonists were not just guessing. They seemed to have natural instincts about how to help the alien babies. "There is something else," Carter said. "I have been studying the babies that have been here longest. They are learning very fast, much faster than they should." She showed Philip some recordings of a young ferox that had been at Settlement 3 for 2 weeks. The creature had learned to open doors, use simple tools, and even respond to its name. "That is not normal animal behavior," Philip said. "That creature is showing intelligence." "Exactly. And the humans are teaching them without even thinking about it. Look at this." Carter showed another recording of children playing with young Sky Reapers. The flying creatures were learning games and following rules. Dr. Hudson's voice came over the radio again. "Lisa, I have been studying the brain patterns of these young creatures. Their brains are developing much faster than normal. Being around humans is making them smarter." Carter felt excited. This was the first real clue about what was happening. The alien parents know something we do not. They know that their babies will become more intelligent if they grow up with humans. "But how do they know that?" Phillips asked. "These species have never met humans before." "I do not know yet," Carter replied. "But I think the answer is very important. Not just for understanding these creatures, but for understanding something much bigger." As the sun set over Settlement 7, Carter watched the human children playing with the alien babies. Different species from different worlds, but they were learning from each other, growing together. Somewhere in the forest, adult predators watched and waited. They had made a choice to trust their most precious possessions to strangers. But why? Carter was determined to find out. 6 weeks had passed since the first predator left its young with humans. Dr. Lisa Carter thought she was starting to understand the pattern. But then something happened that changed everything. Ryan Brooks was the leader of Settlement, for he was a practical man who had spent his life building things and solving problems. 6 weeks ago, a young Sky Reaper had been left near his settlement. The flying creature was just a baby then, small enough to hold in 2 hands. Now the young Sky Reaper was much bigger. Its wings could spread 8 feet across. But that was not what amazed Ryan. What amazed him was how smart the creature had become. "Watch this," Ryan said to Dr. Carter over the video link. He was showing her something that should have been impossible. The young Sky Reaper was using tools. It had learned to hold a wrench in its claws and turn bolts. It could operate the settlement's water pump. It's most incredible of all, it seemed to understand when Ryan spoke to it. "Turn on the generator," Ryan said to the creature. The Sky Reaper flew to a control panel and pressed the right button. The generator hummed to life. "Turn it off." The creature pressed the button again. The generator stopped. Dr. Carter stared at her screen in disbelief. "Ryan, how long has it been doing this?" "It started about 2 weeks ago," Ryan replied. "At first I thought it was just copying what it saw. But now I think it really understands what the machines do." Carter felt her heart racing. This was the breakthrough she had been looking for. "Can you show me more?" Over the next hour, Ryan demonstrated how the young Sky Reaper had learned to help with many tasks around the settlement. It could carry tools to workers, operate simple machinery, and even seemed to recognize different people by name. "The most amazing thing," Ryan said, "is that it teaches itself. Show it something once, and it remembers forever." After the video call ended, Carter immediately contacted Dr. Hudson on the ship. "Alex, I think I know what is happening. The alien babies are not just learning faster around humans. They are becoming more intelligent than their own species." Son was quiet for a moment. "That would explain why the parents bring them to us. But how do they know this will happen?" "I have an idea about that too," Carter said. "I need to run some tests." Carter had been studying the planet's unusual properties for weeks. The world had strange energy readings that she could not explain. Now she thought these readings might be the key to everything. Dr. Emma Gray was a physicist who had joined the research team recently. She had been studying the planet's magnetic field and had found something very unusual. The entire planet has a quantum field running through it, Gray explained to Carter. It is like an invisible network that connects all living things. What does that mean? Carter asked. Think of it like a giant brain, Gray said. Every creature on the planet is connected to every other creature. Information can be shared instantly. Across the entire world, Carter felt excited. This was the missing piece of the puzzle. So when the first predators learned that humans could make their babies smarter, all the other predators learned it too. Exactly, Gray replied. The quantum field lets them share knowledge. That is why completely different species are all doing the same thing. This discovery explained everything. The predators were not acting on instinct. They were acting on shared knowledge. Somewhere on the planet, the first alien parents had seen what happened when their young were raised by humans. They had seen their babies become more intelligent, more capable, more successful, and through the quantum field. Every other predator species had learned this too. Carter called a meeting with Captain Morrison and Commander Phillips. She needed to share this discovery with everyone. The aliens are not abandoning their young, she explained. They're giving them the best education possible. Human society, with all its complexity and technology, provides learning opportunities that no natural environment can match. Morrison looked amazed. So they are using us as teachers? In a way, yes, Carter replied. But it is more than that. The young creatures are not just learning our skills. They are developing intelligence that goes far beyond what their species normally has. Phillips had been quiet during the meeting, but now she spoke up. This could be very important for our relationship with these creatures. If we are helping them become more intelligent, they might want to help us too. Carter nodded. I think that is exactly what is happening. Adult predators stay nearby because they are protecting us. We are valuable to them now. There is something else, Dr. Gray added. The quantum field works both ways. As the alien babies learn from humans, the information goes back to their entire species. We are not just educating individual creatures. We are advancing entire civilizations. This idea was almost too big to understand. Humans were accidentally causing the rapid evolution of multiple alien species. Every young predator that learned to use tools or solve problems was sharing that knowledge with every other member of its species across the planet. We need to be very careful, Morrison said. This kind of power could be dangerous if it falls into the wrong hands. Carter understood his concern, but she also saw the incredible opportunity. Captain, we could be witnessing the birth of a new kind of civilization, one where different species work together instead of competing. Over the following days, more evidence supported Carter's theory. The human-raised predators were not just more intelligent. They were more social, more cooperative, and more creative than their wild relatives. At Settlement 7, the young Draconis that had been left there were now helping with construction work. They could lift heavy materials and work in spaces too small for humans. At Settlement 3, the young Ferox had learned to hunt cooperatively with human farmers, protecting crops from smaller pests while learning agriculture techniques. And at Settlement 4, Ryan's young Sky Reaper had become an essential part of the community, helping with repairs and maintenance that would have been impossible for humans alone. The adult predators made a choice, Carter wrote in her final report for the day. They chose to trust their most precious possessions to a completely unknown species. They chose cooperation over competition. They chose the future over the past. As Carter looked out at the alien babies playing with human children, she realized that this planet was becoming something entirely new. A place where the boundaries between species did not matter, where intelligence was shared freely, and where the future was being built together. But she also wondered what would happen when the rest of the galaxy learned about this place. Would other species want to join this new kind of civilization? Would they see it as a threat to be destroyed? 6 months had passed since the first alien babies were left with humans. Dr. Lisa Carter stood at Settlement 7 watching something she had never expected to see. The young predators were coming home. The 3 baby Draconis that had been left at the settlement were now full grown. They stood 8 feet tall, and their scales gleamed in the sunlight. But these were not the same creatures that had been left behind. These Draconas moved with purpose and intelligence that amazed everyone who saw them. Look at how they work. Together, Commander Kate Phillips said, watching the three creatures help repair the settlement's main building. One Draconis held steel beams in place, while another used tools to secure them. The third seemed to be giving directions, pointing with its claws to show where each piece should go. The adult Draconis that had originally left them appeared at the edge of the forest. Carter had been expecting this moment, through the quantum field. The parents knew their children were ready. But what happened next surprised everyone. The parent Draconis did not call its children back to the wild. Instead, it approached the settlement slowly, keeping its head low in a peaceful gesture. Behind it came 2 more adults, then 5 more, then dozens. Captain Morrison Phillips spoke into her radio. "We have a situation here. The adult predators are coming to the settlement, but they do not look hostile." From the ship, Morrison's voice crackled back. "How many are there?" Phillips counted quickly. "At least 50 Draconis, and I can see Ferox and Sky Reapers coming from other directions." The lead Draconis stopped in front of Carter.
Out.
It looked directly at her and made a series of sounds. Carter did not understand the language, but one of the human-raised young Draconis came forward. "Says thank you," the young Draconis said in clear human speech. Carter nearly fell over in shock. "You can talk." "We learned from watching and listening," the young creature replied. "The quantum field helped us understand faster." The adult Draconis spoke again, and its child translated. "My parent says that we are no longer just Draconis. We are something new, something better. And we want to work with humans to make both." Are people stronger? Across the planet, the same scene was happening at every human settlement. The adult predators were returning, not to take their children back to the wild, but to join the communities where their young had learned and grown. But this peaceful moment was about to be interrupted. "Lieutenant." Ben Taylor's voice came over. "All communication channels, urgent and worried. Captain, we have 12 ships approaching the system. They are not human vessels." On the Aurora Dawn, Captain Morrison rushed to the bridge. The sensor display showed a fleet of alien warships moving toward the planet. These ships were bigger and more heavily armed than anything humans had ever built. "Open a communication channel," Morrison ordered. The main screen flickered, and an alien face appeared. The creature looked like a mixture of reptile and machine, with metal implants covering half its head. Its eyes glowed red with hatred. "I am War Commander Zeth of the Hegemony Empire," the alien said. "This system belongs to us now. All humans will surrender or be destroyed." Morrison stepped forward. "This is Captain Morrison of the human exploration vessel Aurora Dawn. We are peaceful explorers. We have no quarrel with your empire." Zeth laughed, a harsh sound like metal scraping against stone. "Humans are a disease that spreads across the galaxy. We have watched you corrupt the natural order of this world. You have made the predators weak and dependent. This cannot be allowed." "We have not harmed anyone," Morrison replied. "We are simply living in peace with the local species." "Peace is weakness," Zeth snarled. "The strong should rule over the weak. That is the natural order. You have taught these creatures to be soft and cooperative. You have made them useless as warriors." The communication ended, and the hegemony ships began moving toward the planet. On the surface, Dr. Carter watched as the adult predators reacted to news of the approaching fleet. The human-raised young had quickly explained the situation through a mixture of spoken words in the quantum field. What happened next amazed her. The adult Draconis roared, a sound that shook the ground. In response, similar calls came from across the planet. The Ferox howled, and the Sky Reapers screeched their battle cries. But these were not the sounds of wild animals. These were organized signals, coordinated through the quantum field. "Are not running away," Phillips observed. "They're preparing to fight." One of the young Draconis approached Carter. "The hegemony has destroyed many worlds. They believe only in conquest and domination. But they have never faced a world where all species work together." "What can you do against warships?" Carter asked. "They have advanced weapons and shields." Young Draconis smiled, showing teeth that could crush steel. We have something they do not expect. We have learned from humans how to think like humans, and humans are very good at solving impossible problems. Across the planet, the predators began to move. But this was not the chaotic scatter of frightened animals. This was the organized deployment of an army. The Sky Reapers took to the air in formation, their human-enhanced intelligence allowing them to understand concepts like strategy and tactics. The Ferox moved in coordinated packs using the forest paths to stay hidden. The Draconis gathered in groups, their combined strength capable of moving mountains. Morrison Phillips called over the radio. The predators are not just preparing to fight, they are preparing to fight smart. The human-raised young are acting as commanders, sharing human military knowledge through the quantum field. Morrison understood what this meant. Every tactical lesson, every strategic principle, every piece of military knowledge that the young predators had learned from humans was now available to every predator on the planet. The hegemony thought they were attacking a world of simple animals and primitive humans. Instead, they were about to face an entire planet where human intelligence and alien physical capabilities had been combined into something unprecedented. "All colonists take shelter," Morrison announced, "and trust in your alien friends. Are about to show the galaxy what cooperation can accomplish." As the first hegemony ships entered the planet's atmosphere, they were met by clouds of Sky Reapers moving in perfect military formation. On the ground, Draconis operated captured alien technology with the skill of trained engineers. Ferox prepared ambushes using human guerrilla warfare tactics. The battle for the planet was about to begin, and it would be unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. The battle for the planet lasted 3 days. War Commander Zeth had expected an easy victory against primitive humans and wild animals. Instead, he found himself fighting something that should not exist. On the first day, his ships entered the atmosphere and immediately faced attacks from above. Hundreds of Sky Reapers flew in perfect formation, their human-trained intelligence allowing them to use captured enemy weapons. They had learned to operate alien technology by watching their human friends work with machines. "This is impossible," Zeth growled as he watched his fighter ships being destroyed by flying creatures. Animals cannot use advanced weapons, but these were not ordinary animals anymore. Through the quantum field, every Sky Reaper on the planet knew how to target enemy weak points, how to fly in coordinated attack patterns, and how to work together. As a team, on the ground, the hegemony troops found themselves facing Draconis that moved like trained soldiers. The massive creatures used rocks and trees as weapons, but they used them with the precision of military engineers. They knew exactly where to strike enemy vehicles to disable them. The Ferox were even more dangerous. They had learned human guerrilla warfare tactics and used them perfectly. Small packs would attack from hidden positions, destroy enemy equipment, and disappear before the hegemony could respond. Captain Morrison watched the battle from the Aurora Dawn, amazed by what he saw. "The predators are not just fighting," he told his crew. "They're fighting smart. Every human military strategy is being used by creatures that learned it in just 6 months." Dr. Carter was on the surface at Settlement 7, watching the defense. From a safe bunker, young Draconis that had learned to speak was with her, coordinating the battle through the quantum field. "Your people taught us that the strongest weapon is not claws or teeth," the young Draconis explained. "The strongest weapon is the mind. Now every predator on this planet has the benefit of human thinking." On the second day, the hegemony made their biggest mistake. They tried to target the human settlements directly, thinking that destroying the humans would make the predators stop fighting. Instead, it made them fight harder. The adult predators had come to understand that humans were not masters or servants. They were partners, family. When the hegemony attacked the settlements, they attacked the future that predators and humans were building together. The response was overwhelming. Every predator species on the planet converged on the hegemony landing. Sites Draconis emerged from the mountains, their roars shaking the ground. Ferox poured out of the forests in numbers that darkened the landscape. Sky Reapers filled the sky like a storm cloud, but they did not attack in wild fury. They attacked with human precision and planning. "Impossible," Zeth said again. as he watched his ground forces being systematically destroyed. No planet has ever been more coordinated like this. These are dozens of different species working as one army. His science officer looked at the readings in confusion. Sir, there is some kind of quantum field connecting all life on this planet. Information is being shared instantly between all creatures. Break that connection, Zeth ordered. Destroy whatever is creating the field. Sir, the field appears to be natural. It comes from the planet itself. We cannot destroy it without destroying the entire world. Zeth considered this option. The hegemony had destroyed planets before, but this world was too valuable to lose. The idea of quantum-connected lifeforms could be useful to the Empire. On the third day, Zeth decided to try a different approach. He would capture some of the enhanced predators and study them. If he could learn how the process worked, he could create his own army of intelligent creatures. This was his final mistake. When hegemony forces tried to capture a group of young Draconis, every predator on the planet felt it through the quantum field. The response was immediate and devastating. Adult Draconis began throwing massive boulders with incredible accuracy, destroying hegemony ships that were still in the sky. Ferox packs worked together to build traps that captured entire squads of enemy soldiers. Sky Reapers coordinated attacks that disabled the hegemony fleet's communication systems. Ryan Brooks, settlement leader who had first worked with a young Sky Reaper, watched from his bunker as his alien friend led a squadron of adult Sky Reapers. In a perfect aerial assault, creatures moved with the precision of trained pilots, using tactics that Ryan had taught them while fixing machines. They learned everything, Ryan said in wonder. Not just how to use tools, but how to think. Like humans. How to solve problems and work together. Dr. Hudson, monitoring from the ship, saw something that made him smile. Lisa, look at this. The hegemony fleet is retreating. Carter looked at the sensor readings. 8 of the 12 enemy ships were destroyed or disabled. The remaining 4 were pulling back from the planet. War Commander Zeth appeared on the communication screen one last time. His metal face was cracked, and one of his red eyes had gone dark. This is not over, humans, he snarled. The hegemony will return with a larger fleet. One of the young Draconis stepped into view of the camera. No, it said in perfect human speech. You will not. Tell your empire what you learned here. Tell them that cooperation is stronger than conquest. Tell them that intelligence shared is intelligence multiplied. The hegemony ships jumped to hyperspace and disappeared. In the days that followed, something wonderful happened. The predators did not return to the wild. Instead, they became permanent parts of human society. Children grew up learning from Draconis teachers. Engineers worked alongside Sky Reapers to build better machines. Farmers collaborated with Ferox. To protect crops and improve agriculture, Dr. Carter filed her final report 6 months later. The predators of this world discovered something that took humans thousands of years to learn. The strongest societies are not built on the rule of the powerful over the weak. They are built on cooperation between different kinds of people working toward common goals. Commander Phillips established the first Interspecies Council, where humans and predators made decisions together about their shared future. Settlement. 7 became New Harmony, the first official, human-alien cooperative city. Captain Morrison received new orders from Earth. Instead of continuing exploration, the Aurora Dawn would stay to help establish diplomatic relations with the enhanced predator species. Other ships would come to study this new model of interspecies. Cooperation, the quantum field that connected all life on the planet, became a bridge between worlds. Human knowledge flowed to the predators, while predator instincts and abilities flowed to humans. Children who grew up in this environment developed enhanced intuition and physical capabilities. Young predators became master engineers and scientists. Dr. Carter's final log entry captured the significance of what they had discovered. Today we learn that evolution is not just about survival of the fittest. It is about cooperation of the wisest. The predators of this world showed us that the greatest strength comes not from dominating others, but from lifting them up to reach their full potential. Ryan Brooks, now mayor of New Harmony, stood on his balcony, watching human children play with young Sky Reapers in the park below. Above them, adult Sky Reapers and human pilots flew together in the evening sky. The predators had not abandoned their cubs. They had invested in a future where the word alien would no longer mean enemy, but simply, friend, we have not met yet, and across the galaxy. Other species began to hear stories of a world where cooperation had defeated conquest, where different forms of life had become stronger together than any could be alone. The age of true galactic civilization had begun.